I remember watching on the news the 40-hour invasion start, and instantly I thought to myself, I'm not going to be one of these people that just sits here and writes on the internet how bad this is and become a keyboard warrior about my opinions on such a matter when I could go and make a difference.
You have literally saved dozens of lives on the front line. There was one particularly dramatic day. Could you talk us through what happened that day?
I woke up to the amazing alarm clock that the Russians normally give us of some loud bangs, and they decided that they were going to drop 4 bombs from aircraft onto the village we were in. Realised once I woke up they're very close, so got my stuff, grabbed my bed bag, grabbed my armour, ran outside, jumped into the meat wagon, got out of the area we were staying in, looked right and realised just how close the explosions actually were.
How far away were they?
Sort of 300, 400 metres maximum from where we were to where they hit. That's when I realised just how close they actually were.
It was a road, wasn't it? They'd all gone off in the road.
So the moment I came out and I looked right, there was just a vehicle was starting to catch fire. The building was still kind of collapsing, a lot of dust, a lot of smoke. And then on the left side was where sort of most of the casualties were starting to appear. So as I got closer, I stopped the vehicle maybe 50 metres away. Close enough that I can still get there and help in time, but far enough away that if something else does come in, the vehicle doesn't as bad. Jumped out, got to the first guy, the closest guy. He had amputation to the right leg, sort of halfway down his thigh.
Where was his leg?
Sort of 3 or 4 metres, just tossed down to the side. What was left of it, anyway. I'm assuming it was his, because it was the same boot he was wearing. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. So I put a tourniquet on him.
Would he have bled out and died there and then if you hadn't have done that?
He wasn't doing it himself.
Yeah.
With an amputation, you can lose a lot of blood very, very quickly.
You'd have a matter of minutes, I guess.
Especially sort of the leg. It has a lot of blood as it is. So you've lost the amount of blood that was in the limb that's now not attached anymore. Mm-hmm. The amount of blood that's being pumped out. So you can die very, very quickly from that.
So you saved him and moved on?
Yeah, so it's the next guy. He's kind of peppered. Down his left side, had a few holes from sort of his calf up to his shoulder. I assessed that there wasn't really any bright red blood, so the next guy along, he had facial trauma and facial burns. At that point, I'm just trying to find the people that are going to die very, very quickly.
How many did you stabilise that day alone?
6 or 7.
And these are people that wouldn't probably be here now if you hadn't been on the scene to sort that out.
Probably, yeah.
Now, you've told us you have a particular aversion to a particular kind of injury and you came across it on that day.
I hate eyes. One of the next casualties, he was sat in the front seat of a vehicle, and the right side of his face is kind of, flapping off a little bit. It's just been peppered with a load of glass and shrapnel and not very nice stuff. There's an eye sort of semi-hanging out. I thought to myself, that's not a fan of that. Don't like that.
You feel awkward about the fact that you could not have to put yourself through these terrible traumas all the time. You could be somebody who's just watching it on the news back home, like all your mates. Why don't you think, it's time I went home and got out of this?
I don't want to be that guy. If you see something wrong and you disagree with it, you should be the change. You can't sit there and say, this is wrong, and then write about it on the internet and not actually do the actions to make that thing better. If you're walking down the street and someone's, there's walking down the street, there's an old lady trying to cross the road, you're going to help the old lady cross the road. If you're walking down the street, someone being beat up, you're going to try and break that fight up. Don't be the guy that pulls out your phone and starts to record it. You're like, look how bad this is. Be the cause of action that creates a better world. Make it better for everyone else.